Hi everyone, welcome to the AIAS's Ask an Architect show. Today we have Mandi Tauferner, who is the Vice President at Kodet Architectural Group here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm Keshika de Saram, the past president of the AIAS, and I'm really excited to have Mandi here. Kodet has for many years been a really strong supporter for the AIAS, especially at the local level, and I'm really excited to see Mandi here and have this conversation with you all
Yeah,
at a broader audience.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invitation.
So Mandi, let's talk a little bit about how you got to be where you are today.
Sure. And I would say as a whole, my path was not linear. And I should start with a caveat that my personality is not one to want to plan first X, Y, and then Z. Very non-linear is kind of my thought process you'll hear as I answer your questions, but also how I just kind of moved through my career. So I actually started going to school for psychology, but transferred for architecture. It was something both of my parents' kind of background was well suited for me. I have a very technical mind and an aesthetic, so a great mix. I got my undergrad from the University of Minnesota, and then I wasn't sure exactly if I wanted to continue on and become an actual licensed architect or what my next steps would be. So I took time off. I worked as an intern in a couple different offices. Quickly realized, yes, this is something I am very interested in, and the kind of more traditional career path of becoming a licensed architect. And yes, I need more schooling. I need my master's. There's so much I still do not know. I still say that often today, though there's still a lot I don't know. But at the time, all right, I went for my distance Bachelor of Architecture program, and I know a few schools now do this, but I got my master's from Boston Architectural College. Then I worked for a construction company actually for a while. This was in the 2008 kind of recession, which was a great learning experience of their side of things, how they approach or how they perceive architects, which was a very different angle than I'd otherwise been exposed to. And I've been working at Kodet for about 6 years now. My personality is kind of if I see doors or opportunities or paths that are interesting to me, I will find ways to become engaged within them. And so the firm was close to a point of transition. My kind of curiosity led to asking many questions to kind of the leadership that was in the position at that point in time, knowing potential heirs of who would be taking on kind of the firm. I knew there also lacked a balance of someone in kind of a younger position, and so tried to start kind of voicing that opinion and how beneficial it would be to have kind of a wider group of kind of firm principals representing Kodet moving forward. So just through my curiosity, question asking, and kind of commitment to working through all the little steps to get to this point, became vice principal last year, June, so it's been about a year. Yeah.
Which is really exciting moment. How has
Absolutely.
this first year as principal been?
Great question. Super fun, I would say, and I say that with hesitation because fun is not exactly a lot of work, but a lot of things that I find actually really interested in. Again, I was kind of saying how I almost crafted a spot for me within this company that was otherwise absent, that I was specifically interested in. And it's a lot more of culture type of things, operations, how we work as a team to deliver projects to our clients, less so of the financial planning or the marketing but how we operate as a team and how we could do it better, more efficiently, yet more fun, yet more balanced, what other firms are doing and how we can kind of tie all of that in. So the year has been a lot of testing. Okay, so if we're transitioning as a firm, how do we want to do it next? And kind of with my thoughts process, working as a team, testing a lot of these ideas out, being clear to the rest of our team here. We're testing, we're figuring it out, open to feedback and opinions from them as well. But so kind of crafting and sculpting this thing as a team.
Yeah.
But where I would like to see it going and how I think representing the voice of Kodet, where we would all like to see it going. A fun way to kind of sculpt it.
Yeah. And I think that whole idea of creating the position that you end up filling in a way. I think that's something that's really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a generation we get told that we got to carve out our own path, and I think it's really exciting that you found a way to do that.
Right.
So how can students who are watching, how can emerging professionals make those first steps towards becoming a principal or some sort of senior leadership position, whether it's in a traditional firm or whatever they're pursuing?
Right. Great question. A lot of ways, it doesn't matter actually what you're pursuing. So if you do want to be a firm principal, or right now you think you want to be a firm principal, start taking little steps of first understanding what they need to know, what they need to do, who they interact with, and kind of a lot more of the business side. School does not teach so much of the business side. So understanding their vantage point, what they're looking for, what they're hoping to do, helps know if there is that opening for how you could step in and help. And if it's not there, perhaps it is in other little ways, other little steps. Perhaps it'd be there 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, start kind of thinking of those opportunities. In the meantime, keep your eyes and ears open for any type of leadership opportunity within the firm or not, I would say does not matter. Finding leadership opportunities even in your household or among your friend groups if you're planning the next camping trip you're going on. It's not that fundamentally different than any other leadership situation. It's finding the team, how they're going to work together, what the plan is going to be moving forward, being flexible when plans and things shift, and then documenting that you can take that leadership opportunity, that you do understand the bigger picture of everyone and how you would appropriately fit. Don't try to pave a path that doesn't need to be paved or is right alongside someone else's path simultaneously. That it's just not going to get you where you want to if you're forcing it. And be flexible on what you think that path is. So my intention was not to become a firm principal, to become a vice president, but it was to kind of lead people, teams, and kind of improve upon the firm culture that our firm is at right now. And so it kind of just fell into place and fit as it was. With or without the title, what I'm doing is what I was seeking out, not the title specifically. So if your mind is kind of more on the technical side and you love figuring out how a solar photovoltaic can kind of fit into optimizing it in a smaller capacity and more of kind of the engineering technical side, follow that and pursue that and become, kind of a lead in that path. Or if it's more of the people and project management and or client management and just keeping the client happy.
Yeah.
Follow each and any one of those, test them out as you're trying to figure out what your path is. Some will flop. I have had many paths I've started that didn't work, and so shift paths.
Yeah.
I think if you're doing it right, your paths will shift 10 times at least.
Yeah.
Move with them, grow from them.
Yeah. Well, what about right now while in school? Like, what are some of the things that students should be doing right now, regardless of what their career goals may be?
Sure.
Yeah.
I would say do more than your course load. So I don't want to say to undermine your course load in any way. Get schoolwork done, that's an essential, like teaching you the essential practices of architecture. But balance that, starting even a work-life balance now as a student of your work plus what you want in your career, and you can start that now. So start finding, if you want to be a leader in some ways, start taking on leadership opportunities through, of course, AIAS, or if they're kind of TA opportunities, if there are just even a student group outside of architecture, whatever kind of your passions are and whatever it may fit, start growing and expanding your horizon larger than the fundamental coursework you're getting now. And that will start to lead you towards whatever your path is. So what your interests are now, start getting involved and start following them, and they will lead you to.
That's how you build up your strengths.
Yes.
I believe that we are all born with talents, but until we develop those into strengths through the different engagements that we have, that's the only way we can actually build those into real strengths that we can bring into whatever careers that we
Yes,
pursue.
absolutely. or what you think your strengths are.
Yeah.
Once you start testing them, may not actually be. They may be slightly different.
Yeah.
Find them, test them.
Yeah. Did you ever consider anything, like even after you started architecture school? I know you said you started in a different field, but after you began pursuing architecture as your degree option, have you ever thought about other careers? And how can students who are undecided about whether to go into traditional practice or do something else that's building on those skills that they have, how can they make that decision of careers?
Great point. I would say I have not even still made that decision. I am following this path, which is working well for me and is something I'm interested in. But if there is a parallel tangent that in 5 years presents itself to me, I'm open to that opportunity. Excuse me. So how do you know to pursue architecture or a tangent path? I think there is something kind of always deep in your gut that's telling you what you're interested in. If something feels forced, it probably is. Take a step back and consider why it feels forced, and if there are parallel avenues, or if you need to take a 180, try to be a little more in tune now to where you're at, and that will guide you and let kind of yourself guide you through it. I have considered other paths. I worked in construction for a while, and there was definitely a point in time where I thought, okay, this is actually more of where I was perhaps meant to be, is in the more construction field. So still in the construction industry, but not architectural side. But it turned out that was more of the kind of business management side of that construction company I was interested in, which directly parallels to an architectural firm as well.
Yeah.
If that's a roundabout answer, but
yeah. But I think it's always a roundabout decision. So it makes sense that every time we think about these sorts of decisions that we have to make, we are always going to be hungry for whatever is next, and it's always going to be more than just a single answer, I think. Yeah.
It is not just one decision. I think that's something important to remember.
Yeah.
You do not right now have to decide yes or no. There is so much gray and meandering through it.
Yeah. So you recently became a mother. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are thinking about how they're going to be able to balance that or whatever other commitments that come up in life. How do you think we can all maintain a healthy work-life balance?
Right. Paying attention to what is important to you, and kind of setting a general strategic, this is about the balance of time I would like to see, and I feel like benefits both me professionally and personally. Communicating that.
Yeah.
So the team you're working with, the team in the office or the team in your home environment kind of understands these are things that are important to me, this is about the parameters I'm setting, helps a lot. And then once you kind of set and communicate those parameters, people understand fairly well. You will have to push and flex either way. But as long as the general kind of intentions are known, and then letting things that are less important, some things will have to kind of fade out for a time. Setting things on the back burner for a while will have to happen in order to make them fit. So I've otherwise been fairly involved in AIA, fairly involved in local leadership and various opportunities. Right now I am mother of a 3-month-old and professional, and that's my balance now.
Yeah.
They'll shift and morph and change. Set them, communicate them. It's a huge first step.
Yeah. How can architects and emerging professionals be advocates for issues that they're really passionate about?
Right. That's something I struggled with as a student. I had so many interests, but how you feel at that point in time, you have a lack of credential to actually give back in that interest in some way. I would say get past that mentality. Even just a voice is credential and will definitely help the cause that you're interested in. Start showing up, start getting involved, start exploring your interest further will will start kind of your voice being tied to whatever that passion is. So when I was in school, sustainability was becoming the huge practice. So many of my cohort classmates were really interested in that, and so devoted a lot of extra time towards pursuing that, or touring passive houses. And you tour a passive house, you meet people there, those people know or talk about other opportunities. It just keeps opening doors. Find something you're interested in, find something that right now exists that's related to it, and just start getting involved.
Yeah. And I think maybe on a similar vein, I want to ask, do you have any advice for the young women who are entering this profession, especially given that this is a male-dominated profession, and you reached a very senior level of leadership while also being a mother? I think, is there any advice that you would have for them?
Great question. I would go back to the don't force what doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah. If
it seems being forced, reevaluate where you're at and if it's still the right path for you. So I'm not sure how to step away from my specific experience and kind of give more generalized advice, but you know your worth, you know your value. It is semi kind of genetic, or at least societal, for women to step back more often, be a little more reserved, not feeling they have the qualifications yet. That's a big thing that women often hold themselves back. They won't apply for a position if they don't feel they're 100% qualified. Males, I forget what the statistic is, but will submit for it if they're 60% qualified. I think that goes back to my advice of don't feel like you don't have the credentials yet. If it's something you're interested in and want to work towards, start it and work towards it. And that will just kind of open doors and keep doors open. Understanding that you are a mother or a woman or any role that it should have no bearing on your professional life.
Yeah.
There should be no reason to hide the fact that I am a mother when I'm in any type of conversation. It will not affect my work. I have the parameters set of how my work gets done. Me being a mother fits within that. Kind of no apologies, it works as it is, and leave it at that. Be confident with that.
Yeah. Any other final general advice for the audience?
I would say it can be overwhelming trying to, as a student, okay, how do I get to the path of becoming a licensed art, whatever your path is. Take them all in small strides and enjoy kind of the process through it, because that process is your path, which should be enjoyable for you through the whole process. There will be small, menial things you don't want to do, but if you know they are working towards the path you are on and will keep moving you forward, my whole experience has been enjoyable. Picking up, red lines of plumbing fixture toilets for months, knowing that was getting me towards something else, has been an enjoyable part of the process. So find enjoyment in everything you're doing now, and if you really, your heart feels it needs to shift a little, then shift it a little so you can continue to keep growing and moving forward.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Mandi.
Sure.
I think this has been really great. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you all next time on Ask an Architect.
Thank you.